Hello everyone, I'm Mahdi. Welcome to Japan Wizard TV. If you have ever thought about starting your own business in Japan, you are well aware it can be quite complicated. After doing some research and reading some articles, you most probably come across with two names, Kabushiki Gaisha and Godo Gaisha. Today, we are going to talk about these two company structures and also the main differences that they have. And it's my pleasure to have a wonderful immigration lawyer with 15 years experience right here to help us get the answer of all our questions. Mr. Yuge, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, Mr. Yuge, Godo Gaisha, Kabushiki Gaisha. Can you provide a brief overview of what Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha are and how they differ in terms of business structure?
Godo Gaisha is a limited liability company. It is often chosen by smaller businesses due to its flexibility and simpler administrative requirements. On the other hand, Kabushiki Gaisha is a joint stock company, commonly known as a corporation. It is generally favored by larger businesses seeking to raise capital through the issuance of shares.
As you know, when we start a company, ownership and management are two key aspects. What are the differences between Kabushiki Gaisha and Godo Gaisha in terms of management and ownership?
In a Godo Gaisha, ownership is structured through members, and they can be individuals or other entities. Management is typically more straightforward, with greater flexibility in decision making, and investors are considered partners to help run the company. In contrast, in a Kabushiki Gaisha, there is a clear distinction between ownership and management. Ownership is represented by shareholders who hold shares in the company, and management is structured around a board of directors elected by those shareholders.
And also about capital requirements. How do Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha differ when it comes to capital requirements?
When it comes to capital requirements, both Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha don't have a set minimum amount of money you must start with. However, there are notable differences between them. In the case of Kabushiki Gaisha, it is essential to deposit capital into a special bank account in Japan. This amount needs to match with what's written in the official company document that have been checked by the notary public office. On the other hand, when it comes to Godo Gaisha, there is no such strict requirement. Godo Gaisha entities are not required to undergo the certification of articles of incorporation, and there is no need to deposit capital into a Japanese bank account. So, in simple terms, Kabushiki Gaisha is stricter about how much money you need to start with, while Godo Gaisha gives you more freedom in this regard.
As you know, decision-making process can impact business operations. How do these two business forms differ in terms of decision-making process?
In a Godo Gaisha, decision-making can be more agile and less formal, as it is often based on agreements among members. But Kabushiki Gaisha has a larger structure, involves a more structured decision-making process with a board of directors, general meetings of shareholders, and resolutions.
You mentioned Kabushiki Gaisha is a joint stock company which raises capital through issuance of shares. Can you explain how shares works within a Kabushiki Gaisha and how it affects capital raising in this company?
In a Kabushiki Gaisha, shares represent ownership. By issuing shares, the company can raise capital from investors. Shareholders' liability is typically limited to the amount they invest, making it an attractive option for businesses seeking external funding.
Okay, let's talk about tax. Taxes are a crucial consideration for businesses. Is there any significant differences between these two business forms about tax payments?
Both Godogaisha and Kabishigaisha are subject to corporate taxes. However, the specific tax implications can vary based on factors such as company size, income, and expenses. It's better for businesses to consult with tax experts to determine the best structure for their situation.
And also one other question, is it possible to switch between Kabushiki Gaisha and Godo Gaisha to Kabushiki Gaisha?
It is possible, but can be a complex process in Japan.
And Mr. Yugi, when it comes to registration cost, how do the expenses compare between Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha?
Generally, Godo Gaisha tends to have lower initial registration costs compared to Kabushiki Gaisha. This is because Godo Gaisha involves simpler administrative process. On the other hand, Kabushiki Gaisha being more complex due to its corporate structure and potential for raising capital through share issuance, tends to have higher registration expenses. It's important to consult with professionals to get a clear understanding of the specific costs involved in each case.
Alright, let's say that I'm just looking to start the process of registering my own company. How much time does it generally take to complete all the procedures?
Generally, Godo Gaisha tends to have a quicker registration process compared to Kabushiki Gaisha. It is typically about 1 month after all necessary information for documentation is received. And it is important to note that within 3 months from the date of incorporation, all registered entities are obligated to notify the tax office. Missing this deadline could result in the loss of certain tax advantages.
And Mr. Yugi, if any of our audiences have questions regarding to company registration in Japan, can they reach out to you for answers?
Absolutely, I'm here to help. If any of your listeners have inquired or doubts about the process of company registration in Japan, I will be more than ready to provide guidance and address your concerns. I can provide my contact details, which you can share in the description. Don't hesitate to reach out via WhatsApp, Line, or Facebook Messenger. I'm glad to help with any questions you may have.
And there we have it, a comprehensive exploration of the differences between Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha with Mr. Yugi, an expert in Japanese immigration law and company structure. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you once again, Mr. Yugi, for helping us to understand, answer of all our questions and making it clear for us to know what is the differences between Godo Gaisha and Kabushiki Gaisha. See you next time.